Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. Today we are getting into it with Potat. Leave a like on the stream for Potat, subscribe for Potat and our channel mascot if you have not already, by the way. And please buckle in because today we're going to do a deep dive on Witchtok, the dangers of your For You page, and how it basically went from Crafty to Culty quicker than you can scroll away, unfortunately. So if you are interested in hearing my tips and tricks for how to stay safe while enjoying Witchtok, how to identify the frauds, how to avoid the scams, and how to run away from the cult leaders as soon as you find them, you're gonna love this episode today, so we cannot wait to get into it. I have my breakfast. Yes, I am eating during this stream. I hope you guys don't mind. It has been a very difficult battle trying to have an appetite today, so we're happy we finally have one. But anyway, Gabriel and currently tired. Gabriel Hoffman and currently tired. Welcome to your daily dose of DragonFaether. Super excited to have you here. Before we get started, I just have to show off this little rose that I got. I got it as a gift as an offering for Tiamat, but you can't see it. That's so late. Where's my phone light? I have to show you guys, and it smells so good, by the way. Like, I cannot wait to set it all up. Ooh, sup, we live? Yes, we are. Are you so excited? Oh, is my phone dead? That's really awkward, actually. So, anyway, just pretend you can see it. It's like this really beautiful blue rose, and I'm obsessed. It's so pretty. Oh my god, it smells so good. Okay. Anyway, now that the distraction is out of the way, let's get right on into it. So, how many of you guys have been on the internet since before TikTok? I know that might be kind of a crazy question in today's day and age, but believe it or not, there was an entire community of witches and pagans and polytheistic people before we got the For You page on TikTok. And look, man, it's kind of funny because everything online nowadays, oh my gosh, I can't open my tea. This is my tea, hold on. Don't do this, okay? Don't copy me. Don't copy me. My mom will kill me. She works at a dental office. I'm trying, hold on. Okay. I got it open. Okay, cheers, friends. But yes, my dears. So, back when I first started my journey here online, the really truly only resource I could find about witchcraft was the very first generation of witchy tubers here on YouTube. Shout out to all of them, beautiful homies. And also random obscure articles throughout the internet. Other than that, it was pretty much non-existent on the internet at the time that we jumped on the internet world to navigate magic. But let me tell you guys something else. Unfortunately for us now, the For You page, TikTok, has popularized short form content and has essentially hacked our brains into needing things to be delivered to us very short paced and very bite-sized informations. We got to do the digesting for you before we even present it to you, right? And in like content, right? And so many people don't even have the like attention span to watch these like deep dive full-length videos on YouTube anymore. It's actually really depressing. And many people, especially in the witchy community, are entirely short-form content creators. And I'm not saying all short-form content creators in the witchy space are bad. I'm just saying it adds an extra bit of a challenge onto those creators to produce high-quality, informational, and engaging content for their viewers. So today I really wanted to not only share some of my experiences within these communities, but I also wanted to share with you guys how I have learned the hard way to stay away from scams, to stay away from frauds, and to stay away from cult leaders. I know, very big, scary word right there, but we also just have to understand that everybody is trying to make money, okay? That is probably the downfall of the witchcraft community online, because that's where we're going to start in today's video. So Cheers, my friends. I'm drinking a peach Alani. It is their best flavor. You cannot convince me otherwise. Anyway, if you guys are new here, please make sure to subscribe for Potat. He is our channel mascot. He's super fun. You definitely want to join the Hatchling clan Discord server, which is the first link in the description of this video, so you can join Potat's fan club. We would love to have you there. Potat is the best, and we have emotes, and if you are a member on the channel, you can use Potat emotes in the chat, so it's really exciting. So everybody leave a like on the stream for Potat, our mascot. He's so cute. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. But anyway, cheers. So, what do you do when you open TikTok and you start getting bombarded with, your ex is coming back, this is my cord cutting spell, like all of these immaculate altars designed to keep the viewer on the page? I remember when Witchtok first started becoming popular. It was before COVID. COVID really made it popular though. And I remember my For You page, you know, in 2020, before all of this shit hit the fan with COVID, and like in 2019, before I like, you know, actually made my account, like I would watch like, you know, Witchtok compilations, but it wasn't unhinged stuff. It was really awesome. And the reason why the title of today's video is From Crafty to Culty is because when Witchtok first presented itself, it presented itself as this amazing idea of having people create short form content that was geared towards creating like spells, helping you understand how to create the spells. It was DIY witchy crafts, how to make your own Book of Shadows, how to make your own spell jar, how to make your own witch's bottle, etc. I could keep going. It was about testimonials and people showing their altars, how they build them, how they create and curate their space, right? But then guess what happened? Somebody decided to start making tarot readings. I don't know who it was, but the trend got really popular. And people started making these like videos that were, for lack of a better word, just slop. It was just like divination slop, in the sense that they would shuffle the cards and like say all of these things that you want to hear. And that's where we crossed over into culty territory. Now, this is what I'm gonna give you guys for my #1 recommendation. Listen to the language of the way that these people talk to you and the way that these people create their content. Are people using the language that makes you feel good? Are people giving you language that's like, this person is totally frustrated that they can't control you. This person is like jealous of you and they're trying to like, you know, take your spot in this life. You know, they're saying things like, your ex is thinking about you. They're gonna come back. These like copy link to like, you know, like confirm or whatever. And I'm just like, help. This is like those AOL messages I used to get when I was like an actual toddler that were like, you know, those like chain emails that were like, if you don't send this to 4 of your friends, you're gonna get haunted by the boogeyman or something stupid like that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, bestie, why? Like, why did we reinvent that and package it into content for the witchy community? We already get enough hate, okay? But then when you start making content like this, I'm just like, oh dear Lord, what do I do? These are not helping the stereotypes. Not helping the stereotypes at all. Oh, thank you. I love my philtrum piercing. I like calling it a Medusa though, but it's literally like, fun fact, okay, fun fact for anybody who's like interested in getting like facial piercings. If you are self-conscious about the size of your lips, I've never been like self-conscious about the size of my lips, but for a lot of people who are, they will get philtrum piercings and it makes their lips look bigger. So it's like kind of a way to like plump up lips sometimes. So that's my piercing tip today, okay? Like, we don't normally give the piercing tips, but that's the piercing tip today. So I digress. But anyway, this is something that, you know, ultimately bothers me because unfortunately, as a content creator myself, it becomes next to impossible to compete with unless I'm gaslighting people too. What do I do? What do I do? And so then, you know, like you literally like are just getting this regurgitated video. Like, it's the same video. Everybody's remaking the same video, okay? Everybody's making the video about the cord cuttings. They're making the video about the channeled messages. But it's like geared towards a way that's either trying to sell you something about a particular goddess, which kills me. Like, whenever I see the Hecate videos on my For You page that are like, this is a sign from Hecate. You are a chosen one, and you should buy this necklace. I'm like, bestie, shut the fuck up. I literally can't handle it. Help. I can't do it anymore. It's killing me. I have to rant about it. Like, I've been making content, like, in the witchy space, okay, for, like, almost 14 years, okay? Like, literally. And, like, I cannot tell you guys, and I cannot stress it enough, how witchcraft and witchy content used to be so craft oriented. It used to be like a separate side of like DIY tutorials. Like the witchcraft community used to be like an extension of the art community, an extension of like the DIY community. And now we're just like becoming part of the conspiracy theorist, part of the brain rot community, and it kills me on a deep level. It's killing me. Okay. And all I can do is scream into the void about it. You know? Like, all I can do is like, ah! Because, like, the reason why your For You page is, like, saturated with this type of content is because it is created to hack your brain to staying on and watching it. It's created to make your ego feel good. If you are depressed, okay? If you hate yourself, I'm so serious, guys. If you literally struggle with, like, you know, unaliving tendencies, I hate to bring it there, but like if you struggle with mental health in general, I need you to like really hear me clearly right now. This kind of content is predatory towards you, okay? It's made to get you hooked in, because this is how they start building these cult-like followings. And people don't really give a shit about, you know, who the person is, what they do behind the scenes. They idolize these creators, essentially worshiping them sometimes as literal deities. Like, I've seen it, okay? I've been way too closely involved with some of it, and it makes me want to gag. And yes, I go to therapy about it, because at the end of the day, I'm like, how did we get so out of our goddamn minds? We are literally creating content that's like, you are the chosen one. I manifested this video to hit all of the star seeds. And I'm just like, can I please? Can I please offer you some grass to touch? Please? Please touch the grass. Bestie, please touch the grass. That's where we're at today. Oh, that is where we're at today. Witchcraft was never meant to be mainstream, but things like Charmed and stuff like that made it a joke. Exactly, Matthew. Like, what, like, do people forget that it's called the occult for a reason? What does that word even mean? It means hidden. Thank you. Occult means unknown, hidden, away from you, not mainstream. The literal definition of the word in practice is the antithesis of the mainstream and the globalization of everybody's a witch. Everybody can practice witchcraft. And it's like, do people forget this is dangerous? Like, witchcraft is dangerous. Like, please. Like, I see so many people losing their minds in their craft. I see so many people thinking that they're having these crazy, profound astral journeys with the dragon they met like 3 minutes ago. And then they start calling themselves prophets, or they're they're prophetic. Next thing you know, they're an oracle. And it's just because their algorithm said, hey, your content about this, people liked it, so we're gonna like keep requiring you to post content like this. And then what happens after that? You know what happens after that? These people, because of the way that the TikTok algorithm works, for those of you guys who don't know, TikTok chooses who you are on TikTok, okay? Like, I need to let you guys know that, like, you don't pick your niche on TikTok, okay? Like, you, like, take shots in the dark on TikTok when you first join it, and then the algorithm chooses you. It chooses your place, right? Unless you, like, literally jump into it with, like, an only singular type of content you're making. Otherwise, it's gonna choose for you eventually, right? So, like, it doesn't matter. You could be anyone. You could do anything. You could be anywhere. And like, all of a sudden, you start getting all these notifications on your phone. And you're like, what's going on? You check it. And now, you see your video on TikTok is blowing up. Oh my goodness, this has never happened to you. It's a rush in your brain. You feel literally famous. For some people who've never had attention like this in their entire lives, they get so excited. And the reason why is because it's human, okay? Humans like attention. What do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Because people want to feel important. People want to feel like a leader. People want to feel like, you know, they'll never be forgotten. And as soon as their algorithm chooses what works for them, and unfortunately, sometimes what the algorithm chooses for people is things like, you know, starseed content. Sometimes things like light language content. Sometimes it'll be things like, you know, manifestation, but in the very wrong way. And sometimes it'll be, you know, like dragons, and sometimes it'll be Hecate, and sometimes it'll be channeled messages and tarot readings, and insert any issue, like any sort of problematic content. If somebody pops off with it, I need you guys to understand that the way that the TikTok algorithm works, like even if they tried to pivot out of that, like their algorithm is not going to favor it. It sucks. Okay? And so my heart really goes out to a lot of these people who are just on TikTok trying to make a living, trying to feed their families, trying to, you know, keep their head above water, make sure that they can pay rent, okay? Try to keep shelter for their kids, etc. There's so many people, especially parents, who are like using TikTok as kind of a means, as like a last ditch effort to keep their kids fed. And I will always have sympathy and always have like room to understand this. But the reason why like we're having the conversation we are having today is because sometimes it's even, you know, these people who are literally just trying to feed their families and make sure that they can keep clothes on their back and make sure that they have a roof over their head. Sometimes it's just these people who get their videos that pop off, and next thing you know, they go off into the deep end with it, right? Next thing you know, one of their starseed videos pops off, and you know, they just keep making content about it, and they keep going deeper down the rabbit hole, and next thing you know, they stop posting, and you're like, why? It's like, oh, because they had like a mental health break. Oh, it's because they're no longer with us. Like, can we really truly be so honest with ourselves that it is okay to just be a human? Like, this is not about the chosen one stuff. Like, please leave that alone. Like, if anybody on the internet, not just your TikTok For You page, is talking to you about how you're a chosen one, I need you to unsubscribe, because it is so dangerous. Like, that is the type of mentality, that is the type of language that creates cults. Again, what do you want me to say? Because ultimately it's very dangerous and very scary. Hold on, I just realized that like my phone actually isn't plugged in. This is kind of awkward here. Let me just open this for a second, my friends. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience, Becky. I know it's really scary out there on the TikTok world, but we gotta do our best, Becky. Okay, I'm also just like usually annoying. We are all chosen. Stop. No. What's happening in this chat? No, you guys are not chosen. You're just alive. Please take a breath. Like, nobody's chosen, okay? You were just born. Surprise. Like, and if people want to consider that being a chosen one, fair. That's cool. I'll let you have that. People who are, then that makes us all chosen ones, okay? But that is the only exception. That is the only exception, okay? The only exception, because Otherwise, it's literally just a mental health episode, truly. Truly. What am I gonna do about it? Besides yell at the dark, yell into the void. And it makes me feel bad because, you know, I see a lot of people who've had a lot of really ugly, really scary, really dangerous and damaging experiences with people, that it ruins their practice for them. They feel like they can't connect with their spirit teams anymore. They feel like witchcraft is evil after these experiences. And it's so sad because it's just the For You page that brought them to the wrong person at the right time. And it kills my heart. It kills my heart. It really does. And when people, you know, use their platforms, and it's always very predatory in the sense that it's like they're trying to sell you courses that are thousands of dollars. Please do not buy these. And that is coming from somebody who is about to launch courses herself. The ones that are literally $2,500, why? If these people literally make the money that they say they do with the spirits that they say they do, they would not need to like trick you into giving them money. Do you understand? Like, people who actually have money, like me, don't give a shit, okay? Like, we don't care about your money. Do you understand? People who are rich don't care about making money off of things like courses and readings. You want to know why? Because it's not a good enough return on investment. You want to know why? Because literally there's a cap on it, right? Like, usually people are only going to buy your course once. Usually they're only going to buy something from you once. The idea is to create repeat customers. The idea is to create somebody who's a super fan who will buy anything that you drop. And that is intentionally what these people are doing, right? Like, I could drop so many names of channels, but I literally can't do that because then I'm the asshole, right? So like, all I can really do is like give you guys my playbook, if you will, right? What if I want the spirits to help me overthrow capitalism? Bestie, that is what we are all working with. Literally all of us, right? Witchcraft is neither good nor bad. It's how you use it. Exactly, Emery's. She's always dropping facts in the chat, everybody. Because it is. And that's the same thing with everything, right? Like, anything in this world can be good or bad. It just depends on how you use it. It depends on the intention, and it depends on the execution of said intention. You could have great intentions, but when you go to execute your intentions, you hurt a lot of people. So that's why impact matters, okay? That's why impact matters. And unfortunately, the impact that a lot of these people have when they first make content, like, you know, light language and starseed, and like, you know, they'll make astral projection content, they'll make channeled messages about, you know, insert whatever deity, they'll make channeled messages about how the dragons are coming out to you, how like you're a dragon soul, and all these things. And let me tell you something, guys. It is all a ploy. People can say whatever they want in these videos, and especially so if they're trying to sell you like content. They're gonna talk to you in a way that makes you feel like they are knowledgeable, that you would never question what they say. Like, I could literally do the thing, right? Like, let me deliver you a message on why you should worship Cheetos in this particular speech pattern. Okay, ready? Sing. Did you know that the god of this world was right under your nose the whole time? Welcome to Witchcraft on Crazies, where we talk about how to worship things you never thought were gods. In today's episode, we are talking about the Cheetos. You would never suspect that if you praise the Cheeto will bestow you all of this magic, all of this fortune, and your dreams will come true. But if you believe, only if you believe, and only if you subscribe to my course, closing soon for enrollment at the Cheeto Mystery School. Don't forget to drop $500 for your enrollment, and you could be a Cheeto Lord today. See what I mean? See what I mean? I almost convinced myself there, right? Like, and the problem thing that, the thing that like really kills me too is like most people who are on TikTok are actual children. And so their brains are young. Your brain's impressionable. And like, you don't have enough life experience. And when you see somebody who has a beautiful altar and who has a bunch of subscribers and a bunch of engagement with comments that are just praising them and adoring them, you're gonna trust that as a kid. You are. Okay? Which is why I tell people to, especially when they're young, to start with books. Like, I know, don't start on YouTube, please. Maybe a decade ago that was a great place to start, but today, like, please look into books. And you're gonna also find that there are many places, especially in the mall, that are like trendy places that are selling things on witchcraft, like books and resources on witchcraft. Please don't go there, okay? Like, don't go to Spencer's to buy your books about witchcraft, okay? Don't go to Urban Outfitters to buy your books about witchcraft. I'm sorry, just please don't do that. Like, some of the books there are the worst, most disgusting things I've ever seen. Disgusting, okay? And like totally nasty. Just nasty. TikTok scares me, and that says a lot. No, for real. And you have to understand that like the whole part of Witchtok being what it is today. I remember when Witchtok was trending for the first time in 2020. And that's when the shift really happened. People had way too much time on their hands being locked down during quarantine. And so many people were just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna post. And it was truly an experiment for many of these creators who you now know and love today, who became really popular during this time. And it doesn't really matter how big their followings are. It depends on their niche and how they dominate the algorithm, right? Like, that's the only thing that matters, because ultimately people are starting to use TikTok as a new search engine. I know that's kind of mind-blowing for some of us who are older, but the truth is it's becoming the new Google. People are using it as a Google, and that is terrifying, because the people who are dominating the search results on TikTok for insert any witchy topic ever, 9 times out of 10 are people who are hacking your brain into feeling good, feeling like, you know, they're making content that's addictive on purpose, so you keep watching, so you feel like you are inadequate until you watch all the videos, you know? These spiritual predators are so dangerous for people with OCD and people vulnerable to psychosis. Yeah, and that's exactly what they prey upon. And a lot of these people, you know, some of them know exactly what they're doing, okay? Some of them are very meticulous, very cynical. They know exactly what they're doing. And some people are in psychosis themselves. They are in a fantasy world themselves, and their audiences gaslights them into thinking that they're doing the right thing, thinking that they're chosen ones. Sometimes it's the creator gaslighting the audience, and sometimes it's the audience gaslighting the creator, and sometimes in the worst case scenarios, they're mutually doing it, okay? It is a literal spiral into a cesspool of slop. Please run away. Run away. Plus, it's so scary, okay? It keeps me up at night, actually. And there's so many hatchlings that will find their way into our Discord server. The Hatchling Clan Discord is linked down below if you're interested in joining us. But some of the hatchlings who find their way into our server will literally share how they've had horrible experiences in other communities, how they have been forced to drink the Kool-Aid, how other creators would be very oppressive upon how they believe in certain things, or how if something's going wrong in their life, they're saying, oh, you're not praying enough, oh, you're not doing the spell right, oh, you're not dedicated enough, like, you're being tested. And it's just like that. I worry. Welcome, everybody. Love you, Rebel Child. See you very soon. Good luck on your appointment. Yes, this is making content, Eric Joseph. You are correct. I just literally had to rant about this because I'm literally just in my bed dealing with my cramps, as we do when we're on our periods. And unfortunately for me, I'm just trying to find, on TikTok, what a concept, I'm just trying to find some DIY projects that are witchy, okay? And then somehow I'm getting into the absolute rabbit hole of light language, of like star seeds, of how I'm an alien apparently, which constellation are you from? How I literally have like, now I have Hecate, I have Aphrodite, I have Lilith, I have Persephone, I have Artemis, like all of these deities want to reach out to me, and I just like literally need to like remind you guys that it's an algorithm. Okay, and it's coming from somebody who like makes channeled messages online. Okay, like, hi, I make channeled messages, and one of my like most popular TikToks, or my most popular TikTok, is a Hecate channeled message. But I'm not gonna gaslight you into thinking that it was fate. Okay, I'm not gonna gaslight you into thinking that Hecate herself brought you to my videos. Like, your algorithm brought you here, Bessie. People who tell you that it's a sign, it's fate, blah blah blah, they just want you to buy the little link that they have on the shop cart. Okay, 9 times out of 10 it's a Hecate necklace. I'm gonna take a bite of the food. They've all lost the plot, and I'm scared. When I was a little girl on this channel, had this channel for many years as an actual minor. Okay, let's not forget how I was a literal child. And the worst part about it is that when I was really young, before there was like really that many like witchy creators, right, or like witchy tubers, I was always encouraging people. I was like, it would be so amazing if more witches made content. Like, we could never have enough because our community is so misunderstood. Little did my little 16-year ass know, my little 16-year-old ass know, is I was opening a can of worms, okay? Because my little childhood brain couldn't conceive of people cosplaying witches. There's so many people just cosplaying witchcraft in like an aesthetic way, right? They'll just burn candles with all these herbs and blah blah blah, and then they'll try and get you to buy something from them. Please spend your money how you'd like, okay? But you just have to know that, like, I just wouldn't recommend spending your money on TikTok when it comes to like witchy services, specifically readings, okay? Specifically like spells, you know? I hate scammers of tarot people, reader that comes to my messages every time. No, exactly, Moonlight Sorcery. I have the same issue. I think we chatted about it like once, and like it just literally never stops, right? Like, look at any creator on TikTok or any creator even on YouTube or Instagram who is like well known for readings, and then you got all these bots reaching out, cosplaying their accounts, trying to literally scam you too. So you have that layer to it as well, because it gets really juicy when the creator who's like famous for creating these types of tarot readings or these types of channeled messages, it's really awkward when they are a scammer as well, who are just literally hitting record and saying whatever they think that you'd like to hear, like, and then adding like, I like manifested that this would be like sent to the chosen ones, and then they add a little bit of that, you know what I mean? Oh, it's a hot mess. Oh, it's a hot mess. And I really just, it really hurts my heart, because like I constantly see the aftermath of it, simply because of what I try to do here online and the types of communities I try to create and the type of content that I make, right? It attracts people who are trying to heal from these like experiences that were very traumatic and abusive. So much spiritual abuse is happening on Witchtok. I just need you guys to just be aware of it. Like even if you don't engage with it, even if you do engage with it, like, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is about it. I just need you to know that it's happening, is basically kind of like where we're at today. Because like, I just really want people to have the tools that they need, to have basically like, I guess, a warning in order to navigate it, because ultimately it's very scary and it's very dangerous. So let's talk about how these like crafty videos slowly started turning into culty videos. Now it's presenting these new novel ideas wrapped in the package of self-improvement, wrapped in the package of manifestation, wrapped in the package of, you know, divine channeled messages, wrapped in the package of your ex coming back, literally. And the problem with this is that so many people will believe this. And it's because they don't have any other like resource or any other information or contrasting take or contrasting advice to these things, because 9 times out of 10 the witches who are actually honest, who are doing their best, who aren't scamming you, who are reminding you how to stay grounded, who aren't gaslighting you into thinking you're chosen ones, those are the creators that usually don't trend on your For You page. And it's really tragic because we live in an era where people who do the wrong thing are rewarded. And so the people who are trying to do the right thing, it's really hard to compete with that. And ultimately, that is where a lot of, like, I guess you could say, the good witches, or the witches that aren't trying to scam you, aren't trying to sell you a course, or tell you your ex is coming back through a reading, or doing a cord cutting for you, these people are the ones who win. Because the For You page loves it when people engage with that, and then especially if they buy something from your video, like, that's the point, right? Like, there's so many practitioners that I know that won't even add product links to their content because they think it is an ethical issue, and I totally agree. For some of the content that people are making, there should absolutely not be an incentive to purchase something. Like, that is just malpractice to a certain extent. It's scary, crazy how quickly things become cults. Yes, Tim, it's actually the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed in my career. Because it really starts with people trying to control information, with people trying to control definitions of things, especially the more niche communities that you get. Like, for example, I'm in, like, the Dragon Witch community over on TikTok and just in general. And the real niche perspectives about dragon magic and about, like, connections with dragons, it starts getting really weird for some people. And some people just take it in a really awkward direction. Some people take it, like, into a sexual, romantic direction. And I will say I don't really know too much about God spousing. But I do know that TikTok, like, basically made that term completely mean something that it, like, actually isn't for the real practitioners, which is something that also is a problem when it comes to these, like, videos that hack your brain. TikTok just wants to keep you on the app, okay? Any engagement is good engagement. If somebody is putting out a video that's telling them the most unhinged things and people are eating it up in the comments, or people are even hating them in the comments, guess what? TikTok sees that, oh, people are enjoying this. Let me push it out to more people. And look, that's great in theory, but in practice, that's how you get some of the most destructive videos having millions and millions of views, right? Mike, feel free to ask your questions. Before dying on his bed, said everything he said was worshiping was wrong. Before dying, he seen God. No, that's fascinating. I really love looking into near-death experiences and the people that they have had. Can you hold this stuffed animal like a baby? Yeah. I love Potat, he's so special. He's perfect. Okay, Potat is potassium. Anyway, Sarah Marie says only the truth will have a good aura. You know, I definitely have to agree with you. Do I have another one? Like another stuffed animal? Yeah, I have this one. Look at it, so cute. This one, see the zipper? I know this might be awkward for some of you, but look. Guess what's inside? Little babies. Little babies. What's happening? We're taking a break from the stream, from the rant, for the vibes, okay? So please. I need you guys to understand that this was the greatest thing I ever purchased. Hold on, who texted me? Anyway, it was the greatest thing I ever purchased. It comes with little babies. Okay, I love it, all right? They have so many different colors. I'm gonna need to get them all eventually. Look at this one. So adorable. What is he doing? What is he doing but being cute, okay? Are there dragon prophets like prophets of God? No, nor Sphelis. There are not. There's just a bunch of people who think they are. Look at this one. I love this one. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna. I gotta let the hatchling. Gotta let the hatchling children. Okay, I need to leave these guys alone here. I'm never gonna continue the stream. Okay, we will make a video about all the awesome dragon things that I love one day. Okay, I'm back. Do you have Spyro dragons? I really need one, actually. I have like plastic figures of Spyro, but I would love like a Spyro and a Cinder plushie. That would be amazing. Excuse me. So here we go. The thing that like I really wanted to touch upon the most was like the culty behavior, right? So like the information control is out of control. And then there's a lot of like communities that have this like cult-like following where if you defy the creator in any way, if you criticize the creator, if you tell people, oh, the creator is like a human being and they make mistakes, these people are vicious in the sense that they will gang up on you. They'll mass report your accounts. I almost lost my TikTok account from a community like this. They mass reported my content. I literally got like community guideline strikes and I had to have my agency fix it because like I literally was just telling the truth about certain creators who took advantage of me and took advantage of my community, and apparently I was the evil person, okay? Then that made me the cult leader. All I'm gonna say is if people will not allow you to criticize them or criticize creators, red flag. You should always be able to criticize people. You should always be able to criticize people. You should always be able to like leave constructive criticism and people not freak out about it. Like if people are freaking out about you saying, hey, this is dangerous, this was my experience and I didn't like it, and people are gonna get mad at you about that, especially if it's like a collective, yeah, mob mentality, exactly, Matthew. Like especially if you get that mob mentality around it and it's basically a witch hunt. They will, and you know, I have so many people I could tell you about who used to be incredible creators on TikTok who were bullied off that platform because of people like this. And this is why I literally had to make this video, because it's not just some cutesy little, oh my god, like Witchtok, like oh my god, like your ex is coming back, like oh my god, like no. These people are cyber bullies. These people make people have mental health episodes. These people send people to the hospital. Do you understand? You understand? I can't. I literally can't. I literally can't. Can you answer my question if that sounds criticism? I'm sorry, but I am genuinely asking. I'm new to your channel. Your channel just got suggested to me. Oh, hi, welcome. I probably missed your question though. Are you an OF created? No, I am not, but I thank you for subscribing. But anyway, so this is kind of where I'm coming from, because I've witnessed and I've helped people recover personally from abuse that they have suffered online, specifically with TikTok, and specifically with just wanting to, all they wanted to do was learn about magic. All they wanted to do was learn about dragons, and people are taking advantage of them. They're taking advantage of the love that they have for the spirits, taking the love that they have for nature, taking the love that they have for witchcraft and the practice or a particular type of pantheon, and they're turning it against them and turning you into cash cows. And I'm just like, ah! And so today I just wanted to remind people, like, it's not cutesy and it's not demure. If like people are selling you a course with a bunch of like a majillion dollars, and then people are saying like, oh my god, you're Chevy, and then they're saying like, oh, if you don't have money for my course, buy my other thing that'll help you make more money. Like, ew, 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 ew. Ugh, okay. See. Anyway. Shadi, thank you so much from the super chat. I really appreciate it. From a Palestinian to such a kind person, that's the first time I see your channel live. I quickly checked your channel. I respect and appreciate everything you do. Thanks for being a real human. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I am honored, truly honored. And you are always so very welcome. And if you ever have any questions about anything, please do let me know. Also, free Palestine. Excuse me? Can we free Palestine? Like, hello? Anyway, I just need to take I just have things to say, and I do. Antonio, I'm in the weird part of YouTube. Yay! Welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. I am here today to remind you why Witchtok went from Crafty to Culty, and unfortunately, it went so much faster than you could scroll away. So if you're interested, why don't you hit that subscribe button? We would love to have you here with us. And mostly, moving forward, I just feel like we're going to make this a continual conversation because I have a feeling that there's so many people, right? You know, there's so many reasons why it could go wrong so fast, and like for as long as like TikTok is causing problems within the witchy community, I'm absolutely gonna be talking about it. Chris, you 18? Oh, that's so sweet. I'm much older than that. But that's basically where I'm coming from, you know? Like, what do you want me to do? Because like, in the witchy space, and as content creators in religion, spirituality, faith, anything, creators in these spaces immediately get it wrong when they use you to help them, okay? The whole entire job description, okay? As somebody who creates religious content, as somebody who creates spiritual content, as somebody who creates faith-based content, your job, okay, is to help your audience, okay? If you are doing what you're doing for your audience to help you, you got it backwards, okay? If you're making witchy content, if you're making religious content, if you're doing that kind of content just to get paid, can't you see how that's the problem? Can't you see how that's the problem? Stop. Make a channel about beauty and have your witchy channel on the side. Like, it becomes a problem the second you monetize it. Because when people are depending, and I am an example of this. I used to depend on this channel to pay my rent, okay? When I did that, my videos suffered. In the sense that I thought I had to make the videos that you wanted to see. And I slowly started to hate myself. Why? Because I wasn't showing up authentically. I was showing up from a place of scarcity, needing to pay my rent. And so people, when they get these kinds of hits, right? If like one of their channeled messages pops off, insert anything, right? Like the next thing you know, the only thing these people are trying to do are like, book a private reading with me. And look, I'm not saying that like, you know, feeding your family, take it from me, who has a literal great grandmother who fed my grandparents with the money she made from readings, okay? Like my great grandmother made money to feed the family with her tarot readings, okay? That was before the internet, okay? Now with the internet, it's become so much more of a nuanced conversation, and there's nothing wrong with having a witchy business. I need you guys to understand, I'm not hating on people who like have their whole business built around their witchcraft, right? Because that's valid, okay? The problem is when it becomes predatory to convince you to drop the money, you know? You are well-spoken and interesting and intelligent, and that's what I appreciate about you. Oh, thank you, Matthew. I really appreciate that. Are you from Florida? No, Florida scares me. Florida scares me so bad. Do you do witchcraft? Yes, I do. Do witches only love on warlocks? No. Witch is like a general, like a gender neutral term, okay? So like a man can be a witch, a woman can be a witch, and anyone in between can be a witch. And warlock actually means oath breaker. So most people don't do that. Most people don't use that word, if that makes sense. Can Muslims be witches? Yes, I'm Muslim and a witch. That's so funny. Is Islam against witchcraft? Some kinds of witchcraft, yes. Can you try to pronounce my name? Oh my goodness. No, thank you. Yeah, so I actually go to my local masjid, which is basically a church for Muslims. And when I talk to them about my practice, because my sisters are very fascinated by the witchcraft that I do, and they love my YouTube channel, they just have very different definitions. Very different definitions of witchcraft. But like, if you're practicing witchcraft feeling like, you know, if you don't do the witchcraft, like, you're not gonna get X, Y, and Z, like, that's considered like, you know, that's considered like haram in Islam, or like forbidden by God. But like, the Quran also confirms that like spells work through the will of God. So, you know, it's definitely a new thing I'm trying to, you know, talk to the scholars, the local scholars about, because I just feel like nobody's really talking about it within the actual like Muslim community. So most like when you go to like masjids and you listen to like prayers about, you know, or like what you would call like a sermon from like a witchy leader, which is called an imam, they're really not going to talk about witches unless it's like in passing. Like, they just don't care. They're focused on worshiping God. Do you understand? The problem that we get is from like the Catholic Church mostly, making it to where what they practice is considered white magic and anything else is considered like dark magic or like black magic. So, cheers. You know, some people would consider my dragon guardians jinn. Most of my Muslim friends do consider the dragons that I work with jinn. And the more that I learn about it, it's really just a difference of perspectives. It's like a different cultural way of viewing the same thing. You know, what am I drinking? I'm drinking tea java. This is the best black tea on the market. I am obsessed. But I'm also drinking my Alani. Okay, we got a caffeine problem right now. Anyway, yeah. So it's actually like really fascinating, to be honest. But the way that I describe my witchcraft to the scholars at the local masjid and to the to my sisters and stuff, they basically like don't really define what I practice as witchcraft, which I found really fascinating. And I'm really hoping that one of the scholars at the local masjid will make a video with me about it, because it would be a really fun deep dive to do. Absolutely an amazing deep dive to do. But I digress. Mostly what I'm talking about in today's video is just like the predatory nature of, you know, people claiming that they can connect you with like your guardians. No, that is not real. That is a scam. And I don't care who gets mad at me for this. Like, only you can connect to your spirit team. Only you can discover what deities are meant for you, what dragon guardians are around you. Like, that is your practice. Like, don't let people take that beautiful journey away from you simply by asking for your credit card information. Like, please, 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 okay? It's really, really important, you know, for people to understand how incredibly dangerous it is for you to give somebody the power to determine who your spirit team is, your identity, people telling you who your spirit is, what your past lives are. Please do not pay for these things, because they are just a great way to open the door to have people who will then become an authority over you. And no one's an authority over you in your spiritual practice unless you let them have that power, okay? It's so, so scary, and it makes me so sad, you know? It makes me so sad, right? Like, you know, because I see people who have this bright, brilliant curiosity, this desire to learn about witchcraft, this real, genuine, innocent love for the practice, for the craft. And guess what happens? They'll come across these people, and the next thing you know, it was such a disturbing experience for them that you'll see them on their same page, on their same TikTok page, saying like, I found Jesus again and witchcraft is evil. And it's literally informed by these experiences with these creators who, first of all, aren't even real witches. They just bought decks and started shuffling them on camera and then posted videos hoping that something would happen, okay? And it's so annoying to me because a lot of these people don't care about you, in the sense that, like, they're not thinking, is my content gonna hurt people? If people don't have those thought process before uploading content, I need you to unsubscribe, okay? Because they clearly don't have you and your safety as a priority. And any witchcraft worth her wand, okay, any witch worth his wand is going to be very bluntly honest with you about the dangers of witchcraft, about what's real and what's not real. They're gonna have real honest conversations about how you should not be worshiping them as creators. I am not your dragon queen. Thank you. I am a human being. Let us not forget, okay? Let us not forget. Because I miss the days on YouTube, because I was here for it, right? I miss the days on YouTube when it was literally just all these witches in their backyards or in their rooms sharing just intimate details about their practice, sharing the day-to-day life of what their craft looks like, sharing how they set up their altars, sharing how they craft their spells, sharing, you know, tips and tricks on how to start spell casting, how to practice magic. And even on the darker sides of things, like, there was actual genuine solid content about cursing and hexing with proper warnings, with proper understandings, like, hey, if this is not something that you feel comfortable with, don't practice it. Those disclaimers don't exist on Witchtok, okay? Because there's not enough time for it. You understand me? People aren't putting this kind of discussion in their TikToks because by the time they get through the talking points, you've already scrolled. You don't care. You don't care, right? I search it up and says that any type of witchcraft practice is haram. Yes, Julia. And that is because, according to their definition of witchcraft, yes. But when I talk to scholars about how pagans and witches define witchcraft, to them, that is not witchcraft. So it's very gray area, right? Really big gray area, but cheers. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Have you watched Hocus Pocus? It's based on her life. Is it based on her life? That's amazing. I love Hocus Pocus. But I'm just kind of like, I just kind of want to like emphasize to people that like ultimately like don't let anybody have this kind of like a say over your practice. Like, please don't let people like define your reality. Please don't feel like you can't function in this world without a certain creator's readings, without a certain creator's channeled messages, without a certain creator's courses, okay? You don't need it. All you need is yourself, okay? That's all you need. All you need is faith within yourself, okay? And there's so many people who are just starting witchcraft who are insecure, who are scared, who are lonely, who are literally abused by their religions, by their families, by their communities, looking for a way out, looking for some way to take their power back. And these people, we all know, are vulnerable. We all know are struggling with things like mental health. They could be struggling with things like self-harm. They could be struggling with insert any issue. And when they come across the creator that talks to them in just the right way, all of the sudden, they can't do anything else without this creator say so. They have to buy every reading. They have to buy everything that drops from them. They have to get every course, every booklet, every blah, blah, blah. And it is literally so destructive. And it's so sad. People literally lose so much of their confidence when they get attached to creators like this, right? Like, and it doesn't even matter, right? Like, these cult followings are usually generated on YouTube. Sorry, they're usually generated on TikTok. And then the creators who are smart enough, right, will actually jump that audience over to YouTube. They'll like push it over to YouTube to where they're gonna have these tiny channels, but the types of comments that they're getting are insane. It's like hundreds, and it's just because of this cult following, because they need to have everything that you say. They need to buy every course that you have. I've seen all of your videos. I couldn't live without them. Do you realize how sad that is? Like, I understand it is totally valid to be inspired by a creator. It's totally valid to have a moment of weakness, a moment of vulnerability, and find a creator's content and it helps save your life. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the people that become so obsessive over it, where they're literally constantly on their phone, refreshing your page. I know people like who were in this type of a cult-like mentality. I just had to see her new video first. I didn't feel complete. I couldn't start my day until I saw her video. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. You know? Breaks my heart. So, it's just wild. It's just wild. And ultimately, it's the people who are vulnerable that lose. And ultimately, it's the group of, it's like witches at large who lose. Because everyday witches just minding their business, who are your teachers, who are your healthcare providers, who are working at McDonald's, who are just doing their best at their 9 to 5 to meet ends meet. Those everyday witches are the ones who suffer the most from content like this. Why? Because content like this creates a reputation around the word witch, witchcraft, witchy community, pagan, polytheist. All of these terms become synonymous, even more so, with negativity and predatory behavior and mental health issues. And by and large, it's projected on all of us. You know, it's projected on all of us that way, which is just so sad because like we're doing nothing but trying to mind our own business. And it's so unfortunate that like our entire community is usually judged by 1 or 2 bad eggs. And that seems to be a pretty popular trend within life. You know, pretty popular. So yeah, you know, and I just want to remind people that use your discernment, okay? Just because it comes across your For You page and it makes you feel good doesn't mean that it's for you and that it's good for you. Ugh. It makes me cry, you know, because I know a lot of people and they're especially young, you know, and it's truly tragic because these young impressionable human beings become so glued to their phone that they can't even put the phone down to even attempt their own witchcraft. They have to double check with all these creators. They have to, you know, watch a million videos before they even attempt it. And then when they're attempting their witchcraft, they're so distracted by what they've seen online that they don't even feel like they can be present or that their witchcraft is even good enough. And that's just, it was never meant to be like this, guys. Like witchcraft ultimately started as a way, like it's the origins of science. Do you realize that? Like it's the origin of healthcare. Like people who were the witches of their community were called the cunning people, the cunning men and women who were healers, okay? There's nothing haram about being a healer, okay? Like, you have to understand that Islam prescribes you to have reason, okay? For the religious conversation we're having, right? Like, people who make potions that are made of herbs that heal you is witchcraft, by the way. But it ain't wrong, okay? It ain't. It ain't haram. Because if it heals you, that's healing. Okay? Okay. All right. But this is where I'm coming from. Okay? So, again, you know, it doesn't really matter what someone is or isn't doing, right? It only matters how you're experiencing it, right? And the cool and bad thing about, you know, religious freedom is that anyone can practice whatever they want, not hurting anyone, and that's beautiful. But on the flip side, people can choose to say and choose to create any kind of content they want and it can hurt people, you know? But my biggest takeaway from practicing witchcraft and my biggest takeaway from studying world religions is that the second you try to force somebody to be a certain way, the second you start shaming people for their wrongdoings and their flaws as a human being, is the second you lose the plot. Because ultimately, it's none of your business what other people are doing unless it's actively hurting other people, right? If people are just doing their own thing, being respectful, doing their best to be appreciative, and, you know, sharing the histories and the roots of certain things, it doesn't really matter what a person does, right? Like, but the problem that I'm talking about specifically is when people start creating these crazy belief systems, they'll hop on their TikTok claiming that they have the truth, that you are the chosen one, and you were manifested to find the video. People sometimes love that. People sometimes really, really love that language. And they'll subscribe and they'll dive deep and they will sometimes never come out of it, you know? So I wanted to shed some light on it because it breaks my heart, and I just really think that we're so caught up in trying to, you know, have that novel experience, have that audience, have that validation, have that business. You know, so many people don't want to go to a 9-to-5 anymore. They're desperately trying to create some sort of business for themselves online, and I get that. Like, how am I ever going to be mad at anyone for that? The difference is like, if you're, you know, using your privilege of the internet to jump on here and you start hurting other people for a paycheck, like, that makes you no different than people on a massive scale who are doing the same thing. Right? Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. llaÄษ์أكبر. You know? So that's why I have to talk about this. You know what I mean? Because, like, people are always going to have their own opinions about who you are, right? And the second you give somebody the ability to have an opinion on who you are is the second, I'm going to use the word, you become a slave. Why? Because that is your master. The person who's giving you your identity is your master. Do you understand? I know this is a harsh topic, but the second that you feel like you need somebody, either their readings or their content or their courses, to function, you have become enslaved to this or addicted to this, and it is horrible. And I would just like to talk about it more, because I've just seen so much damage done. I've seen so many people not only lose their livelihoods, but lose their mental health and lose their lives. I've seen so many people, like, actually think witches are evil after certain experiences like this, and how could I blame them? That's the hardest part. Like, some of the communities that these people get involved in and then, like, you know, take a complete 180 and now they're a born-again Christian who's like, Jesus is king. How could I actually blame them when their actual experience with witchcraft for the first time was absolutely batshit, unhinged, and predatory? It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, and my heart goes out to you guys, you know? Which is why we're always going to talk about it here on this channel. And why, like, we like to tackle difficult topics on this channel, because we love to study all world religions, actually. The more that we study world religions around the world, the more that we realize we're always just kind of practicing the same thing. We're all kind of doing the same thing in different fonts, you know? And that's what's so fascinating too, because, like, you can, like, just take this chat, for example, right? Just take this chat. So it says there's literally people who believe in God in this chat, people who don't believe in God in this chat, right? All are valid perspectives. Do you understand that? Anyone and their view of spirituality, of the unseen, of divinity, of God is valid. Do you want to know why? Because the second that I start telling you that you're wrong, or the second that you start telling me that I'm wrong, that's when we start to kill each other. Do you understand how, like, stupid humans are that way? we're not as smart as you think, okay? Like, even me, I don't know shit, all right? Like, I literally am stupid, just like you are stupid, respectively, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be honest, because, like, we're all trying our best. This is all our first time being alive, okay? Yeah. Anyway, it just kills me deep. It says, if I remember correctly, I think you mentioned being Christian at one point. Did you convert to Muslim, or do you consider yourself to be both? That's a beautiful question, Emily. For a quick minute on this channel, I did identify as a Christian witch. And that is because I genuinely have always believed in God. And I've been very vocal about this on my channel. And I really don't care if people hate me for it. I really don't care if they don't like the terms and definitions that I'm using, right? Because that's what identity is. It's our relationship to certain words, certain labels that make us feel happy, that make us feel safe, and that we belong. And unfortunately, being raised in the Mormon church, I was heavily abused, especially as a woman, a little girl. And that pushed me so far away from religion. But guess what I could never lose? I never lost faith in God. I could never lose my love of God. I always knew God was greater. I always had that innate belief. This is just my journey, right? We don't force my journey on anyone else, just like we're not going to force your journey on me. That's how we work here, okay? And that led me to witchcraft and paganism. Being so abused in the Mormon church led me to a practice where I got the control. I got to decide. I got to write my code of conduct. I got to choose how I prayed. I got to choose how I casted spells. I got to choose who I worshipped. You have to understand, majority of witches and pagans find witchcraft and paganism because of the religious abuse they grew up with. Do you understand? Do you understand? A lot of these people innately still believe in God and feel like they can't even own that love of God, can't even explore that faith with God because people condemn them as witches. You realize that makes you the abuser, right? When you tell witches they can't believe in God, you know that makes you the religious abuser, right? Because it doesn't matter what you think is right or wrong for a practice. The only time your opinion becomes valid is if you're trying to stop somebody from literally oppressing another human being or hurting themselves. But if people are just minding their own business, exploring their belief systems, exploring different world religions and learning, and then they create their own path, that is not wrong, okay? And I don't care who I have to fight about that, because I will. Because I am so passionate about how I see people literally take their own lives because they are bullied for being not the right religion, not the right gender, not the right identity. Fuck you people. Like, it literally is free to be kind. It's literally free to just listen to what people believe in. And so when I found witchcraft and paganism, I finally felt like I had a space where I could learn, where I could take up space, where I could practice. And that part changed my life. And it's something that I will never leave behind. And some people can hate me and they can call me, you know, haram and a sinner, and I am unapologetically a sinner. You want to know why? Because so the fuck are you, if you want to have that conversation. That is the whole point. Okay, is that we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, which is why I will never get on this platform and call another human being evil unless they are literally murdering people, unless they are literally abusing and oppressing people. That is the only way you earn my criticism. That is the only way you earn my hatred. Do you understand me? That is the only way you earn my shame when I shame you. That's the only reason why I'm going to shame somebody. Are you telling someone they can't be who they are? Shame on you. Let people be themselves. What does it do to you? What is it doing to you? But the second that people jump on their platforms and they shift tune from being you can be who you want to be to I'm going to tell you who you are, whoo! Block button exists for a reason. Block button exists for a reason. My goodness. So my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry not to interrupt your rant. Just to find an outspoken soul is dual beauty. Oh, you're so sweet. Listen to the Songbook of Revelations by Dax. That shit is so deep and really makes you think. I will definitely love to check it out. This is how villages used to get taken over. You mean well, but a lot of it's hollow. How? Right? See, if you hold space for people to be themselves, but you have a hard line that you draw when it comes to protecting what's precious, you have a hard line of where you actively disrespect people when they're being disrespectful, that is the key point, right? Like, it's great to tell everybody, you can be who you want to be, let people be who they want to be. That's great and all, but it means nothing if there's no muscle behind it, right? Just look at the United Nations right now. Oh my God, we're gonna stop war around the world. Like, oh my God, we're never gonna let this happen to people. Hello, have you seen the Congo? Have you seen Gaza? There's no muscle behind it. Means nothing without muscles behind it. Please get it through your heads. You know? I don't really know what else to tell people other than to literally chill. And here's another thing, my loves. Here's another thing. When you stop being chronically online and you start connecting with people in real life, you're gonna realize really quick what's real and not real online. And so many people lose that perspective when they're chronically online because they don't have any outside experience anymore. They don't have communities that they're a part of anymore. Okay? They don't have third places to go to anymore. They don't have a coffee shop where they can talk to people. They don't have a local library that they meet people at. No, they don't. Right? But the second that you literally take a step out of it, the internet world, and you start meeting real people and you start having real conversations, that's when you're going to realize the majority of people are genuine. Okay? The majority of people don't care about what you're doing. The majority of people aren't trying to control your religious beliefs. They're not trying to shame you. The majority of people are not going to make fun of you for who you are. They're actually going to be curious. Okay? I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a good majority of people when you actually have real world experiences. Right? When you have actual real world experiences. Because had I not ever gone to, like, you know, my local masjid and, like, just really been open and honest about my practice, right, with witchcraft, I would have never been met with all these curious questions from my sisters and the Muslims there just wanting to know what I do. They're curious. They love it. They're subscribed. Did you know? They love me. They view me as their sister. They think that I am an incredible, you know, practitioner of what I do. Granted, I don't fit their definition of witchcraft, but that doesn't mean I'm not a witch. Do you understand? Like, and the difference is with this kind of thing is that had I never had these conversations, I would have never really felt like I knew better because I needed to talk to people. I needed to have conversations that were difficult to have, you know? Excuse me. And if you find creators who peddle out this really polished content that makes your brain feel good, that makes your ego feel good, and there's no difficult conversation attached to it, that is inherently not witchcraft. You want to know why? Because the majority of witchcraft, the way that we know it in terms of like the last 100 or so years, the practices were created from people who were oppressed, looking for any way to take that power back. Any way to take that power back, and how is that wrong? That will never be wrong. That will never be haram. You want to know why? Because it is worse to oppress somebody than kill somebody. It is. You know? And people don't realize that telling someone who they can and can't be, telling someone how they have to practice, telling someone that they can't be X, Y, or Z type of witch until they buy your course, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in our community here online. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And all I have to say is that I will never stop talking about it. I will never stop holding space for people of all belief systems, of all faiths, of all spiritual practices, of all identities, because it's free to be kind. And the only time we won't hold space for you and who you are on this channel is when you try to force somebody else into your way of thinking, when you try to force somebody else into thinking that they are wrong or inherently sinful. That is none of your business. Lower your gaze. Leave people alone. Focus on your own relationship to God first. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And none of you guys are perfect. You've made mistakes. You've hurt people. You've, caused issues. There's been conflicts, okay? All of it. All of it. And until you can show up right here, right now, saying, I've never done a bad thing in my entire life, first of all, you're telling us that you're not human, because humans make mistakes. It's inherently part of our nature. And second, that is literally not possible. Because if you were perfect, guess who you would be? God himself. So people, you're more than welcome to hate on me in my comment section for being a Muslim who practices witchcraft. You're more than welcome to. But you have to understand that it will never stop me from going to the masjid and praying with my sisters. It will never stop me from casting my spells that help me feel better, that help me heal from the shit that I've been through. You realize that everything I do in my practice is to regulate my nervous system. The only things that I'm really sharing with you on my channel is my journey, okay? And a lot of people, they will come on here and they'll claim that I have the truth, this, and that, and I don't know anything, okay? All I know is what has worked for me and what is working for me and what hasn't worked for me and why I don't do it anymore. And there's so many different details to this conversation that it's like the second you bring in this righteousness, this energy that you are better than, this energy that you have the truth and you know the truth, you already lost the plot. You already lost the plot. Okay? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Please. Do you pray to God? I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a Muslim. So I don't pray to Jesus. I believe that he is a prophet of God, according to the Quran. But this is my practice, and every witch is going to have their own practice. That's actually what makes it witchcraft, okay? That's the reason why most people from organized religions like Christianity and Mormonism and Catholicism or Jehovah's Witness, anything like that, who were raised in it and had a horrible experience, they gravitate towards Wicca, they gravitate towards witchcraft, they gravitate towards paganism. Why? Because you get to build it yourself. You get to build your craft yourself. There's no prescribed way to do this. There might be a general idea. There might be a reconstructionist type of view, but for the most part, people are creating their practices for themselves in witchcraft and paganism. And you can't deny how this heals people. You can't deny the science that's happening in their brains and in their bodies when they do this shift. You can't deny how their cortisol levels spiked to the roof in church and how their cortisol levels are so mellow when they're within a witchy circle. What, are you going to deny science now? What? What? There's scientific proof that praying heals you. There's scientific proof that meditation heals you. There's scientific proof that ritual heals you when done correctly. And if your religion is making you deny science, it's not working for you, bestie, right? because religion and witchcraft and all of these different things are here for people who need it, for people who feel like they cannot move on without a higher power, for people who struggle in life and don't know what to rely on. You know, that's why I tell people so hard, don't give people that power over you. To determine who your spirit team is, to determine what dragon guardians you have around you, to determine who your, God spouse is or whatever, to determine what past loved one is around you. Don't ever give somebody that power, please. Don't ever give somebody that power. Because the second that you give somebody that power, it becomes almost impossible to take it back without being some sort of traumatic experience. What are the scientific studies on dragon guardians and god spouses? Absolutely nothing. Okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like physical rituals and how it like registers in the brain, right? Please don't make me open the can of worms on god spouses. Everyone will hate me if I talk about it. Oh god, okay. There's a lot of hatchlings who watch my channel who have god spouses, and you have to understand I'm never coming for you guys. Like, you guys aren't hurting anyone, okay? Like, please. I'm not trying to encroach on your space. I'm talking about it in like a overall general consensus, right? Because there's so many people who were like in the god spouse like type of niche on TikTok, and a lot of it is turning into fantasy relationships with Lucifer or fantasy relationships with demons, okay? With like, I don't know, insert any demon's name or any sort of deity, right? I need you guys to understand that god spousing essentially means you're entirely devoted to a particular deity, all right? It's just an extreme form of devotion, okay? And when you turn it into some sort of like role play fantasy game where you got a spiritual boyfriend named Lucifer, please know you are not practicing witchcraft anymore. You've lost the plot, okay? I know it's hard. Let me hold your hand while I tell you this. You might need to see a doctor. And I know that that is hard to hear, okay? But anyone encouraging you to have like a relationship with a deity like a human being would with another human being, run. Run far away. Because that's not how this works. That isn't no. But not how it works. How do I get a god spouse? I am not the one to ask, okay? I am just not the one to ask. Help. It's really bad. It's just really bad. So, people are always going to have their own perspective and their own opinions and their own views on things. And there always needs to be space for that. Right? There always needs to be space for people to believe whatever they want to believe, because regardless of what the laws say, regardless of what you say online, regardless of what you leave comments on, no matter how hard you try to convince people that they are evil or that they're practicing the wrong thing, ultimately you do not know who these people are. Ultimately, you do not know their journey, and you do not know what's happening for them within their practice, which is why anytime people start like labeling people as evil or labeling something that has no physical evidence of hurting another person that's provable in a court of law. If you're gonna label somebody evil just for picking up a wand and lighting a candle with some herbs and stuff for an intention, if you're calling that evil, you are part of the problem. You are part of the reason why our world looks the way it does today. Humble yourself. How about you take some advice from Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, and love your neighbor like you love thyself? Oh, wait a second. It's because you don't love yourself. That's why you're hating on other people. So let's focus on being kinder to ourselves. Let's focus on being kinder to what we say in the mirror to ourselves. Why do you hate yourselves? Where did that come from? Why aren't you doing the work to think about it? How do I get a dragon guardian? The best way to start is to learn about dragons. I definitely recommend studying the mythologies, right? There's mythology about dragons all over the world. You'd be so surprised what you find. The more that you invest yourself into your studies, the more that you try to improve yourself as a person, the more that you try to protect what is precious and stand up for what's right, you're going to attract dragons. This has been my experience. Hey Martin, good to see you. Welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. We're talking about how Witchtok is a riot, because it is, you know, and I need people to understand that it can be dangerous, right? Witchcraft can be dangerous. That is the point, okay? And if you are out here in this online world telling people that witchcraft is not dangerous, also part of the problem, you also need to understand that like everybody's gonna have their own perspective and everybody's gonna define witchcraft very differently, which I think is ultimately the true issue when it comes to what's it called? When it comes to just witches and the whole are they evil, aren't they evil type of thing. But you guys have to understand that it's a scary world out there online, and it's only gonna get worse, okay? Only gonna get worse, and it's only going to, you know, I don't really know. I don't really know what the ending of all this looks like, right? I'm just a girl who follows her dragons, but I'm just here to kind of help you have some tools in your kit, if you will, to navigate just the online world today when it comes to witchcraft and things to look out for. And, you know, just things to remember when you are navigating these spaces, okay? Like, I want you guys to be safe, but I also want you guys to not be too afraid to explore yourself. Do you know what I mean? Are you a witch? Yes, so welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. Witch TikTok being a mess like my mental health. That is so funny. That's really funny. Hope you have a good day, lady, and find a good husband. I do have a husband. You'd make a good godson. That's funny. That's funny. Super funny. Yeah, no. I got engaged last year to the love of my life. Very, very happy. God spouse Potat. Oh, tragic. You're so right. God spouse Potat. Potat. Don't ever listen to them. Do you understand me? Hold on. Do you understand? Don't ever listen to them. All they want is your money. Don't give them your money. Keep your money. Invest your money in your happiness. Buy a Potat. Don't buy a reading. Buy a Potat, please. You do not want it. You don't. Please don't go there. They're trying to kill you from the inside out. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Potat, for that. That was a very beautiful channeled message from Potat. We couldn't do anything without Potat. You guys have to understand. They couldn't understand. I don't know. Sometimes I just get the need to like dance a little bit, you know? We're weird here. It's called geeky, cheeky, and freaky, okay? Get on my wavelength because it's the best one to be on, all right? All we're doing is hanging out. All we're doing is holding space, trying to be good people, all right? Being so honest about the impact of our actions. At the same time, discovering the magic within ourselves. Hail Potat. Hail Potat. He's honestly maybe the best thing to ever happen to me. I love Potat so much. Why is he so cute? What do I do? He's just so small. Like, look at his body. He's just like so flopsy. Like, what do I do with him? He's just so precious. What do I do? He's so cute. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Potat is on my head. But yeah, guys, that's truly the stream for today. I feel like my rant is over for the most part. I feel like I got it off my chest. You know, Potat is very satisfied. What level witch are you? I am level potat. Level potat! Subscribe for our channel mascot. So, you know, I just want you guys to have a good life. It's really that simple. I want you guys to know how special this life is, but that doesn't make you a chosen one, okay? You're not here to save the world. You're here to live your life, all right? You were never meant to be responsible for fixing the world, okay? People who have billions of dollars hoarded in bank accounts offshore, it's their responsibility, okay? I know that's hard to hear. It seems hopeless. But you also have to understand that this life is so short that all you have is right here, right now. Yeah, you real as fuck. Got us up tonight. Oh, yay, Caleb. So much love to you. So much love to you. You know, and like you'll see literally in chat right now, people fighting so hard because they believe they are chosen ones. I am so sorry that you believe this. Like, you're a human being. That's it. You are just alive. I know. Pretty miraculously boring, actually. You were not chosen to come here to rescue people. You were not chosen to come here to fix the world, okay? You were not chosen to come here to elevate humanity to the new earth. Like I said, you came here to live your life. Remember how short that is, and do your best. Do your best to put yourself out there. Do your best to show up exactly how you want to, regardless of who's gonna judge you for it. I will have people judging me for the rest of my life because I identify as a Muslim witch. But I will never let these people change who I am. Why? Because I'm not hurting anyone. Being a Muslim witch saved my life, Allahu Akbar. And I have the right to talk about it, okay? And you do too. If you identify as a Cheeto, bestie, you are a Cheeto. I don't care who wants to fight me about that. However you want to define your reality is your right as a human being. And the second that people want to try and encroach on your space doing that, know that you matter even more so. Because people aren't going to tell you you're wrong. People aren't going to have hate for you unless you are stepping out of the box. Unless you are so uniquely yourself that no one could copy you. You know? No one could copy you. Like, you can't be copied when you show up as who you are authentically, right? Like, you can't be copied when you follow your heart that way, you know? And so many people are trying to fit in. So many people are so deep down the I can't be cringy rabbit hole that they forget to express themselves. Throw that out of the window. Here we are geeky, cheeky, and freaky, and we love to hear about how you see the world. We love to hear about how you experience life and how it might be a little bit different. You know? It might be a little bit different for you. Might be a little bit different for me. But chances are, if you are so hell-bent on being a keyboard warrior for people's content, telling them that they need to find Jesus, telling them that they're going to hell, telling them that what they're doing haram is haram, all I'm gonna need you to do is ask yourself, why does it matter to you? Why does it matter? Do you get something out of that? Do you feel superior about yourself? Do you feel righteous? Does it feel some sort of void in your heart where you feel like you don't get attention? Does it feel good to hurt other people? Does that make you feel good? Because if hurting other people makes you feel good, hell exists for a reason. That's all I gotta say. Like, people who get off on hurting other people, people who get off on telling them that they're wrong for just being who they are, bestie, it is so free to be kind. It is so free to be kind. Wait, we making a cult? I mean, I'm down. Yeah. The cult of Potat. Cult of Potat. Cult of Potat. All hail Potat. All hail Potat. All hail Potat. Potat, Potat, where it at? Where it at? All hail Potat. All hail Potat. All hail Potat. Potat, Potat, Potat. Anyway, I digress. Humans will judge you for your sins, but God judges you for your repentance. Every time. To anyone who believes in God in this chat, by the way, and people who don't believe in God in this chat, I'm just going to leave that with you, okay? Don't ever forget the humans will judge you for your sins, okay? But Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, but God Almighty will only judge you based on how you try to be better. Will judge you how you acknowledge your mistakes, how you ask for forgiveness, how you mean that shit. Did you guys not forget, or did you guys forget, that God is the only one who can forgive the sins? Why are you telling me? I can't forgive your sins. I don't even know you, let alone am responsible for your actions. I'm only responsible for me. That's why I don't point my finger at other people unless they are causing harm, because that is what the dragons taught me. The only thing that matters when you work with dragons is doing your best to improve yourself every single day and to protect what's precious. And if people claim that they are dragon witches, people claim to work with dragons, and they are hell-bent on becoming better versions of themselves, if they aren't hell-bent on defending people who have no means to defend themselves, can you even call them a dragon witch? No. Because what is a dragon? It is a guardian, a protector. When you are a dragon witch, you become a protector of humanity. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Because I don't think you are. I think so many people use their practices, their spiritual practices, as an escapism from how hard it is to live in this world, which I also understand. But then don't jump on your platform claiming that you have the truth when your whole practice is centered around escaping reality. Right? So when you're practicing witchcraft, when you are working with spirits, when you're doing any sort of astral anything, if it is not focused on grounding you within your body, if it's not focused on anchoring yourself and your energy and your frequency into the physical world, and it's focused on bringing you out of this body into the astral, I'm going to use that term really loosely here, that's how you know it's not functioning the way it should be. Because my practice for a time used to be solely centered on escaping my abuse. It was escapism from reality. And never had I ever been so unwell mentally in my life than when I was in that space. The amount of times I almost went into an insane asylum because of that scares me. Scares me. I know people who don't come back from that. Scares me. And when we don't talk about these things, we don't have the education that we need. We don't have the language that we need to navigate these things. Okay? Like, why are people so interested in trying to erase entire groups of people off the internet? Or even physically free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan. Why are you so obsessed with people who are minding their own business, sharing their happiness, their joy? Why are you so obsessed with bringing people like that down? Don't you realize how that makes you a sinner? If we're gonna have that biblical talk, right? So it's like, again, the people who say, all these other creators don't know what they're talking about, I have the only one way, that is a red flag. Don't engage. people who are selling you things that are ridiculously priced, not breaking down what they are, not labeling their readings as entertainment purposes only, like they are legally obligated to. If you didn't know, anyone who's selling tarot readings, anyone who's selling oracle readings, has to legally, by the law, disclaim that their readings are for entertainment purposes only. And if they are not, they are dangerous. You should be disclaiming that. My content is for entertainment purposes only. Why? Because I don't have all the answers, all right? And some people will jump on their platforms and pretend they're conjuring this spirit and talking to that spirit and talking to this deity and that deity, and you believe it. And you start thinking these people are the new Delphi Oracle, and it's just like, no. It's really easy to use your phone to do some smoke and mirrors and make people think that you're this awe-inspiring person. I do not talk to dead people for other people. You know, become ungovernable. That's exactly my vibe, Caleb. Exactly my vibe, right? Like, I will be absolutely a problem. Like, I identify as a personal problem. Why? Because, like, I'm not just gonna let people be assholes for fun without repercussions. I'm gonna make you feel dumb about it, okay? Like, I'm gonna question you so hard in front of all of your homies that you turn red in the face because you weren't expecting me to open my mouth like that. I've done it. It's great. It's very good entertainment. 10 out of 10. Definitely enjoy it. I do. I really do. You know? But, back to what you're drinking. What is it? I am drinking Tijava tea. It is so good. It's like black tea. Delicious. The best tea you can get. I need more friends like this. Caleb, we would love to have you in the Hatchling Clan Discord server. We're all friends over there, always chatting, full of like minds over there, just wanting to support each other and learn about magic and religion and spirituality. So it is the first link in the description box. If you want to join us, we would be so very honored to have you with us. So I want people to know that, like, here, when you find this channel, you've been adopted, okay? Because first of all, I won't be having kids in this life, and I treat my viewers like my children, okay? I literally want to make sure that you guys have the absolute best setup that you have, all the tools you need to live your life for you without me. You don't need me. I just want to help you find a place to start. So many people literally are helplessly looking for any kind of answer, any kind of way to cope with what they're going through, anything that makes them feel like they belong somewhere. They're looking for that answer. They're looking for the truth. So many people, truly. And people find the truth in anything. People find the truth in so many different things that, like, how could you ever claim that there's only one way? Like, I don't care if people want to call me, like, a hypocrite for saying that, but, like, I wasn't born yesterday, and there's this thing called, like, human studies. There's this thing called, like, philanthropy. There's this thing called, like, statistics. Like, you should look into them sometimes. Because the thing about facts is they don't care about your feelings, and unfortunately, some people's feelings don't care about the facts. But the reality is they're gonna be real whether or not you care. And we can't ignore that, you know? What do you think about Islam? I am actually Muslim, mashallah. You know? So there's so many different perspectives that people can have. There's so many different paths and journeys that people can take. And just because somebody takes an unconventional path doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means they're brave. It just means that they're in tune with who they are. It just means that they're being authentically themselves. And if you want to judge people for stepping outside of the box, if you want to judge people for showing up as who they are, if you want to judge people for how they believe in things, and you are one of the people who like to leave hateful comments about how they're wrong, all I can say is God is greater. all I can say is stuck for Allah. Because all I can do in this life that I have is whatever is in my power. And what's in my power is to talk, to share the devastation I've seen when people are treated certain ways, to share how people glow when they feel supported to be themselves. Like, we can't deny the science of being accepted for who we are. You know? It's just the way it is. As a Muslim, how is your Ramadan going? Dude, I love Ramadan so much. I'm so sad it's almost over. Going to the masjid for Ramadan this year has truly changed my life and truly healed my relationship with God that was so obliterated in the Mormon church. I was always a little girl who loved God, and the Mormon church beat that shit out of me, sometimes physically. And Islam always holds space for my love of God. When I start crying in the church, I felt all eyes on me in a bad way. When I start crying in the masjid, all my sisters flock around me and tell me that I'm home and that it's okay and that I'm always welcome to stay. And they always love hearing about my stories about magic. I never thought I would be more accepted by a group of Muslim sisters than I would have ever been accepted by a group of witches. I am more accepted by the Muslims for being a witch than I am accepted by the witches for being a Muslim. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. You know? And one thing that I experienced when I was in the church growing up, and when I was a teenager, you know, dabbling in witchcraft, and I went to like my friends' churches and stuff like that. When people found out about my channel, they would tell me not to come back. You're not welcome here, they would say. How could you do that to a little girl who loves God? How could you ever tell them that they are not welcome in the house of God? No wonder why people leave your stupid religion and find home in paganism and witchcraft. Imagine my shocked Pikachu face when I was told that I would never be turned away from the masjid, no matter who or what I believed in. Mashallah, the nicest people I've ever met are Muslims, okay? And the only people who are debating me online about what is haram and what isn't haram, people who are telling me I'm a sinner and I can't be this and I can't be that, people who are telling me that Islam is an evil religion, are literally people who are not Muslim. Mostly from the witchy community. Sure, there's a few Muslims who like give me some flack. I'm not saying that there's none of them. But none of them are in person. Christians collectively in person and online give me shit. Okay? like they do. And, you know, witches are very accepting in person, but sometimes they're very harsh online, right? And it blows me away. Right? Like, I'm more afraid to tell witches that I'm Muslim than I am to tell Muslims that I'm a witch. It's really just that simple. And that has been a really surprising part of my journey. And this Ramadan, getting to understand what Ramadan really means as like a holiday of fasting from this dunya, all of our worldly desires, to focus on worshiping our Lord, on worshiping our God, seeking forgiveness, and knowing that we will be forgiven. Why do people forget that? Why do people forget that Allah's mercy is 1 degree above his punishment? He can choose to pardon who he wills. I have faith in God. I don't have faith in people. I don't. That's a huge reason why I make these videos. Because I never had that voice of reason. All of the adults mishandled me growing up. All of the adults around me, they tried to control me. They tried to shame me. They tried to make me feel wrong for having a certain opinion, for having questions. To a certain extent, was actually like beaten for it. I'll never forget being hit on the hand with rulers by people who were supposed to be leading like Sunday school for the girls. And I owe it all to my dragon guardians, who told me, after I left the Mormon church and was deep into paganism and witchcraft, it was always my dragons who told me, it was never God who hurt you. It was always the hands of man. Do not abandon your faith, little dragon. And I never did. Many times I wanted to be like, you know what? God is dead, fuck God, like he doesn't exist, like never was real. But deep down in my heart, I knew that I needed God in my life. And for some people, they need their witchcraft in their life. That will never be wrong. Their craft helps them be better human beings. It helps them cope with things that are hard. It helps them move through tragedy. It helps them take their power back. That'll never be wrong. That will never be wrong in my book. You know? So, she's evolving, LMAO. Edit the like fire on my eyes. She's evolving. Whoa, it's learning. You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. But yeah, guys, like, the more that I accepted all sides of myself, the more that I accepted my own intuition being superior in my religious, spiritual, faith-based practice, the more that I followed my own authority before the authority of a book, before the authority of a man, before the authority of some organized religion, that is when I became the most grounded, confident, and competent version of myself that I have ever experienced. Because I don't let fear live in my heart anymore. The only thing I fear is disappointing my Lord. And I know in a very intimate way how many people are in my community, the witchy community, the pagan community, and the polytheistic community, who are literally just trying to cope with religious abuse, who are literally trying to cope with taking their power back after they were mishandled as children in these churches. Let those who have eyes see me. Let those who have ears hear me when I say this. People deserve to have access to any spiritual practice, any faith-based, anything, belief system, whatever you want to call it, any religion that isn't closed. Okay, that's for a different conversation. But they deserve to have access to these things, to learn, to study, to follow their heart, to see where it takes them. That is the beauty of this life. Because had God willed it any other way, we would all be one group of believing people. But guess what? We still choose to differ from each other. We choose to deviate. We choose to forge our own path. It is in human nature. So how are you gonna tell me that people following their human nature, minding their own business in their own lives, not oppressing other people, not stealing from other people, and not hurting other people, how is their journey wrong? I will wait. The only thing I fear are the Scientologists. Zero. Oh my God. Can I tell you guys a scary story about Scientologists before I head out here? I do have Jesus in my life. You guys are so weird. Why are you guys so fucking weird? Like, dude, like, bold of you to assume that I do not follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. Peace be upon him. Man's was a walking miracle. What? Like, we love Jesus on this channel. We study him so hard, okay? Like, we love him, okay? So, like, relax, people, relax. But, like, truly, the Scientologists, let me tell you guys something. What do you think of Sufism? I think it is so, so beautiful. I love it. And my practice as a Muslim witch really mirrors Sufism, right? So the best way that I can describe it is that most, like, Muslims will view me not as a witch, they'll view me actually as a mystic. Do you understand? Very fascinating. But when it comes to Sufism, it's very about going inside your heart and connecting through God this way, through the remembrance of Allah, and through just that internal journey. And that's how my witchcraft has evolved since becoming Muslim. Is my witchcraft used to be a tool to respond to life experiences, would often cast on others. But now my witchcraft is a tool to go within myself, to address the darkness that still lingers within me after all the abuse that I've been through and all of the things that I've survived in my lifetime. And my witchcraft is a tool to navigate that and to, you know, come to terms with that and take my power back from some of these. No, I am a Muslim witch. Thank you for asking. But yes, you're an OG for that, Alex. Yeah, absolutely. So the story, Scientology. So where I live, for those of you guys who don't know, I live in LA and I work in the celebrity entertainment industry. Hey, hi, hello. I work for an agency that manages celebrities, media, marketing, all of that. So the crazy thing is that what we do is we help our clients get like gigs, right? We help find like performances that our clients can attend and perform at. And one of them that we found was a stage at Scientology. And the craziest thing is that one of the clients that we manage, Scientology really interested in this man. And they invited our client and they invited my fiance and they invited me too, but I chose not to go because vibes, right? And like they went to this Scientology concert thing. And it was pretty much just like empty rows of chairs except for parents and like other kids who were like the talent, right? And it was this huge stage, okay? Like I'm talking about like a stage big enough for like Katy fucking Perry to perform at, okay? Huge stage, huge monitor in the back. Like you have to understand this was like easily like 6-figure setup, okay? Like 100K plus, probably closer to almost $1 million was put into this stage. And they were trying to, you know, encourage like our talent to sign up with them and to attend with their things. And like they gave us the booklets and all of that and all of that. And the second our client told them, you know, we're not interested, that's when they stopped reaching out. And the next time that one of our other clients went there, the stage that they had made, the stage that was literally built in this auditorium that I kid you not was 6 to 7 figures to build, was gone. Was gone. Where did it go? Where did it go? Why was it only there while you were trying to recruit our talent? What? What? I am so serious. I am so serious. Scientologists will create their entire persona to make you feel like you are their best friends. And it scares me. These guys are dangerous, not gonna lie. Scientology is dangerous as fuck. Yeah. For anyone who wants to say that, like, you know, Islam is dangerous, I'm gonna put you onto my bros, freaking Scientologists. Those guys are scary. okay? That is probably the biggest cult besides the MAGA cult that I've ever seen. That scares the hell out of me. It's so scary. So scary. You know, so yeah, guys, there's always things to wonder about in this world. And the only wondering and wandering I am doing is usually in my own business, right? People can learn a lot from just sticking to what they know, right? You know, just following their own path, right? Like, you don't need to stick your nose into where it doesn't belong. You know, like, if you know in your heart and soul, like, you're not a witch, why are you asserting your opinions in witchy spaces? You know that makes you the asshole, right? Like, if you're a Christian and you're asserting yourself in Muslim spaces, you know that makes you the asshole, right? Like, if you're a Muslim and you're in the witchy spaces and you're telling these people they're going to hell, you realize you're the problem, right? Right? Did we forget? Did we forget? You know? So yeah, watch your tongue, okay? It's free to be kind. And please watch out for your For You page when it comes to witchcraft, because shit is scary. Especially, like, I'm gonna take that and go a step further. Like, any sort of, like, religious content or faith-based content or, like, witchy content, pagan content, like, be careful with consuming that content on TikTok, okay? You know? In the Bible, it says God chooses and rejects who he wants. So I don't know why they forcing it so hard. That's exactly my point, the vintage system. Like, and it doesn't say it just in the Bible. Like, it says it in the Torah and it says it as well in the Quran. Like, it's very clearly the monotheistic God, like, guides who he wills. He's gonna do that, right? He is. And, like, it doesn't really matter who you are or how you identify. God guides who he wills, right? Like, you can say as much as you want to about something being wrong, this, that, and the other, but until I'm actually forcing my opinions on another person, until I'm actually harming another person, until I'm literally oppressing a group of people, I am actually not doing anything wrong. You see how that works? It's actually really simple last time that I checked. Really simple. So everybody experiences reality differently, and that's kind of the point. So I just wanted to jump up here and remind you that you need to just kind of mind your own business, focus on your own studies, focus on what you love to practice, focus on the path that calls you, and throw yourself into it. You know, like, if you feel like you need to debate people online to validate your practices, I'm sorry, but you're very insecure in your beliefs. It's almost as if you got no faith at all. Like, did you forget how that works? Like, faith is an inside job. Some people, faith does nothing for them, which is also valid. Hey, shout out to the atheists in the chat, right? Because for these people, it just doesn't make sense to them. Why am I gonna believe in something I can't see? Totally valid, bestie. Like, who am I to say, oh, you're wrong? Like, no, the logic is sound, okay? The logic be logicking, okay? And if it's making sense, why am I gonna fight you about that? Like, if you're doing your own thing, not hurting anyone, you vibing with your perspective, bruh, get on your platform and share that. But the second you try and, like, put other people down, the second you try to label other religions as evil inherently, like, unless the religion literally says kill people for X, Y, and Z, people are going to take whatever popular religion they see and they're going to use it to do whatever they want to hurt people. That is just universally a human problem, okay? People are going to do what they want, regardless of what you think. That's why we have laws and order. Because people would probably just be killing and raping each other all of the time if there was no, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe not everybody, obviously not everybody, but definitely more than we already have happening. That is all I gotta say. All I gotta say. I believe God's a flying spaghetti monster. Peter, that's awesome. That's awesome. Except Scientology. No, Scientology is so scary. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. You can't force someone to feel that way. There was a really good video by a rabbi about why God made atheists. Ooh, I gotta find it. I'm sure I could find it. Pin Gillette has a good quote on that, but I can't say here because kind of graphic. Oh, that's fair, that's fair. So yes, my friends. And also, you'll get people who like will call themselves like Muslims or call themselves Christians, but they really are just like a spin-off cult of it, right? They'll like take the general idea of a religion and then they'll create their own version of it, which is how we get sect, or I can't say that word, guys. Sect, hard word to say. You know, I believe in science. Don't get the hate. It's really simple. Like, I believe in science too, and people tend to lose their mind about that. And when I remind them, did you know that science proves that people who are doing witchcraft are having good things happening in their brain, and people who are praying to God are having good things happening in their brain? You guys got to understand that the science isn't going to change about that, okay? What do you want me to say? Are you denying science now? Because if you're denying science, you lost the plot. That's all I gotta say. If you are denying the science, you lost the plot, okay? And if your belief system makes you deny the science, it's brain rot, okay? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in today, my beautiful human beings. It's always an absolute pleasure chatting with y'all. And thank you for helping me dissect the Witchtok shenanigans that started Crafty and is going in a very culty direction. But I do hope that my tips from today's video helped you guys kind of have some, you know, tools to navigate all of this craziness that you see on your For You page, and to give you some red flags to look out for, you know, all of that. And so I just really need you guys to just take it easy. Okay, take it easy, please. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that dramatic, okay? It's not a life and death thing trying to assert whose beliefs are right or wrong. You sound like a child on the playground trying to assert that their imaginary friend is real and yours is wrong, and you have to understand how absolutely pathetic that is. So all I'm gonna say is, when you mind your own business and you focus on what you love and you focus on being respectful, the whole world opens up for you. It's literally a beautiful experience. So with that being said, I wish you guys all the best for today. Thank you for tuning in with me today, you beautiful human beings, because I could just be talking to myself, but because you guys tuned in, we get to have this wonderful conversation, and we get to have all of these great questions and all this good feedback, and I couldn't do it without you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. But of course, if you haven't already, you just have to go join the Hatchling Clan Discord server. It's the first link in the description, and you won't want to miss the Potat fan club. You just don't want to. We got lots of Potat emotes over there, as well as amazing chats for just about anything you can think of, not only in witchcraft, but within religion and spirituality. So super excited to have you guys over there, super excited to get to know you a little bit better. And if you want to be friends, don't be shy. Just click the first link down in the description and we would love to have you there. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, little hatchlings. Okay, shout out to Potat the chat mascot and the channel mascot. But we will be back and we'll see you tomorrow, my dears. But until next time, like I said, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, little hatchlings. Blessed be and Allah Hafiz.